What's up, everyone? Happy Whiskey Wednesday to you. Hope you all are having a great day, an excellent week. Welcome to Midnight Hatter Live, the live, chat show, reality show, whatever you want to call it. I mean,
Yeah.
we talk about hobbies, we talk about video games, mostly Gundam, and we like to keep it lively, keep it interesting. I am, of course, your host, Steven. Joining me, as always, is the dashing Adam Blue. How you doing, buddy? I see that we have some new attire that we're sporting
Yeah.
this evening. Um,
Yeah, that's right. I
well,
had that EFSF trucker hat I'd been wearing for a while.
yeah,
And I felt like, you know what? And I'd never really wear that stuff. I was like, you know what? The trucker hat works.
it
And
does.
so, oh, I think the dog's barking. But anyway, so I, got this made in that store. It's in the links and my stuff. But yeah, I got one ordered for me, and it was like, you know what? This is actually pretty nice. I like it.
This
So
works. I feel like one of those red carpet schmoozers, like at the Oscars or something, and I'm like, oh, who are you wearing tonight?
oh, yeah,
Well,
that's
I'm
right. Well,
actually
this
wearing
is
Gundam
Gundam
Explained.
Explained. Although I called the logo a V-ring. I don't know if that's something already, but I just figured, hey, it's like a V-fin, but with a circle.
No, I dig it. And I like that it's a non-distinct V-fin. It's
Yeah,
not strictly RX-78, but
no.
I
It
mean, the chat will probably correct us if there is a particular Gundam that has a dual V fin that looks like that.
yeah, there's a couple, but I made mine a little more distinct than the ones that do it like Shining Gundam, I
Shining
think it was,
or
or was
Zeta,
it
like
God
Zeta
Gundam?
has like kind of
Yeah,
a
and yeah.
U-shaped inner
I
fin.
figured I wanted to make it seem familiar, but you know what? I can't beat your logo. I love your logo, dude. Like, anyone could look at that from anywhere and
Oh
be
man,
like, "Yeah, nice
that
logo."
was years of love poured into that, so I appreciate it.
No.
Um, Chat looks lively as always, and already, I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are pouring in. Love you guys, love the support. Bill Bros, Ultronymous, Lucas, Brian. I've got see Shirt Lad, Goose,
Nice.
Bionic Shadow. Hey, thank you guys for showing up.
Yeah.
Zionic Shadow's clarifying that Bill Bros is not really his nephew, Gunpla nephew.
Oh,
So, I guess he's your freedom nephew. If Gunpla is freedom and nephew is Gunpla nephew.
yeah. There you go.
Shirt Lad, first Midnight Hatter Live of 2023. Let's go. Yes,
Oh, yeah,
happy
that's
New
right.
Year to you guys. Hope you guys had an excellent New Year celebration. It took me a while to get out all of the Patreon rewards for this month as a result of, New Year hangover. What's crazy is like my daughter doesn't drink. She's 5 months old. Um, but she doesn't sleep either. So
Oh,
that's
okay. So, yeah.
that was
Oh,
where my July 1st, my January 1st hangover came from, was the fact that daughter did not sleep that night.
oh,
Um,
man. And, another thing, not only with, New Year's going on, that was fun, but then, like, I feel like, and I could be alone, but maybe not, but, like, this first week back to work was just during our day jobs, just tons of stuff, like, oh, man,
it was brutal.
slammed. Yeah.
No,
Uh,
I'm right there with you. That's
yeah.
I've been just absolutely swamped with work this week, and it's killing me.
And that's what's nice, honestly, about I always say this, I feel like every podcast, like Wednesdays, it's like the chill time. Like I was telling you, this is like a break for me. I can
Yeah.
just break away from everything, talk Gundam or whatever, you know? It gets fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tonight's topic du jour is actually an exciting one. It's from Patreon member Goose, which is from the Gundam Explained community. You guys, you know him, you love him. He's Stay Goosey. Um, he and I had a conversation in private talking about panel line scribing, and I recommended to him this product, and I realized that a couple weeks ago we did a stream where I was talking about different Gunpla products that I recommend, and I did not even. So you'll probably notice that it's in the links in the description below. We're not going to hop into it just yet because there's a couple things that we want to talk about, but before we hop into actually doing some panel line scribing practice, because like I say, practice makes not awful.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
and
like
I'm
that.
terrible at panel line scribing. So,
Hmm.
any kind of assistance, any kind of products, drop in the chat. Let me know, what do you use to panel scribe on your Gunpla if you build Gunpla, and if not, why not?
Yeah, but let's be honest, history seems to dictate when you say you're bad at something, you're actually good at it. Okay, so give yourself the credit.
We're gonna go ahead and press X to doubt on that one. But no, you've dropped a couple of excellent videos this week.
Yep,
Obviously, I am loving that you are uploading more of the GBO2 gameplay footage. The
yeah,
Beirlant, right, just
yep,
came out, so that one was a lot of fun. And then I think you've got a couple reviews on the horizon for us. But
yeah.
I want to draw attention to a short that you posted that I think probably flew under the radar because I
Oh,
saw that
yeah.
it had a lot of views. But I wanna pick your brain a little bit about this because you got some news via the Twitter sphere, which, God knows that's a hellscape to itself. But via Twitter, you discovered some news of the upcoming live action Gundam movie slash miniseries. What I mean, what the Gundam project that is on the horizon, live action.
Yeah,
Now you were asking a couple of questions, and now, honestly, like the news itself was kind of a cryptic, kind of
yeah,
up for interpretation, and you asked what people thought about that particular news. I want to know what you think
yeah,
because that's that's a big
yeah.
deal.
Yeah, I also got some more information too shortly after that. So this is from Zionic Scans, who has
BJ
been
Beauchamp.
yeah been
Yep.
translating so much stuff. Has a Patreon, by the way, so if you see him on Twitter, he has a link there. Um, but no, he was translating an interview, and they said that they're finalizing the script for the movie right now. They're finalizing it. And, the idea is to make it where they're not really excluding any certain Gundam fan. So, a lot of things went through my mind, and then I was digging a little deeper into another Twitter thread he had where he was saying that it might not be UC. And I was like, "Hmm," so I was talking to him on the side, I'm like, "Where's your source for that?" Not that I doubt him, but I want to, like, know this information officially. Yeah.
That's
And so he sent the link, and apparently it was from that VIP, thing at some thing back in July, and
Yeah.
they were just talking about how it's not UC proper, like, so it seems like they're not saying it's not UC, so it's almost like a couple things came to mind.
Oh,
It
no,
could
you go ahead.
yeah, it could be that they are adapting the UC feel to their own thing, and it might not have Amuro, might not have White Base, it might not be RX-78 but it might have that storyline in the feel with the colony drop and then the Xeon or another, you know. But the other thing I was thinking, because they're trying not to exclude other Gundam fans, is what if it's kind of like a Build Fighters thing, which, I wouldn't want it to be that,
Sure hope
but
not.
maybe though, look at it as a way to get the West more excited about Gundam live action by being able to have something that has an ARC-72 and a wing and whatever other things, eh,
All of the
I don't
things.
know. Yeah, I just, that last bit about it not being UC proper got to me, but then it made me think, just like with how they do between the manga, the novels, the anime, it's like they're kind of their own universe. So it
True.
could be that this movie, they're saying it's in it. They described it as saying UC, just not completely UC. So it could just be that they're adapting it and making it its own universe, but Universal Century.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So, I mean, what came to mind for me when you first said not use proper as I was like, "Oh, Thunderbolt, you mean?" Are we talking about Thunderbolt?
oh,
Because, honestly, there's
oh,
a big debate in the Gundam, and you know how much I hate fandoms and communities, but there's a big debate in the Gundam fandom about the canon, status of
yeah.
Thunderbolt. But Thunderbolt stands out as something that is distinctly UC without being UC because there's so many conflicts in terms of the technology level at the time and like the events that are happening during that period. So
Mm,
hopefully that would be the ideal case for me is honestly,
I like that.
I don't. if we're talking like a direct one-to-one translation of 0079, there's so many opportunities for that to slip up. But I think that generally speaking, even people who don't consider Thunderbolt canon enjoy Thunderbolt as a
Yeah.
standalone piece, and I think that that's what makes it really powerful. So
I love that idea like that. Yeah, the idea of not UC proper is doing something like a Thunderbolt where it's looks like it's within that universe.
yeah,
It's just they can kind of go a little crazier,
yeah,
maybe even feature a Zeta type, like while
yeah.
also just rolling out like a Mark II or something within. Yeah.
Well, because
I,
yeah, that was the thing about Thunderbolt, right? Is you see that
yeah.
there's multiple Zeongs, and it's like,
Right.
whoa,
Yeah.
wait a second, that's
Yeah.
that's
So,
blasphemy. There's only one Zeong.
the way you interpret it then, actually, I agree with the way you're interpreting it, like, in terms of
I
that's what
hope
makes me
so.
more excited.
We'll
Yeah,
see. We'll
yeah,
see. We'll see what they give us. We'll watch what they give us, and
yeah.
if it's not great, then we're just gonna
We'll let them
trash
know.
talk what we, So stay tuned. Stay tuned. We have plenty of opinions to offer on on live action Gundam.
Yannick Shadow, oh my god, what if it features G Savior, LMAO? I hope it does.
Yes. Bring
That's
bring
awesome.
uh bring that Hallmark Channel actor out of retirement because
Yeah, exactly. Just like they bring back legacy actors for Star Wars, bring back, uh, I was about to say Mark Curran, but that's his character's name.
right.
Brennan Elliott is his name. Though I gotta say, I like how autonomous is please no. Like the name.
Just don't. um
Uh, yeah. No, but
uh
that's exciting stuff.
but no, so yeah, I appreciate you sharing your thoughts on that because like I
Yeah.
said, you asked what the community thought and I wanted to know your thoughts because you know,
Yeah.
everyone wants to know what Adam's thinking about these things because as somebody who is a UC fanboy like I am, it's like okay, so
Yeah.
best case scenario, we get something UC that isn't necessarily Amuro, but but yeah, I mean, I hope that it's not a build fighters thing. That would seem a little too uh that seem a little too ironic, a little too like
Yeah,
fourth
like,
wall
it would almost
breaky.
seem like they really, really were making the movie for the intention of just marketing and appealing to a wider audience, whereas, this director, I mean, they had him attached on Metal Gear Solid.
Yep.
He did the King Kong, you know, but it was kind of a take on the story, so it's like he does or he's involved in adaptations or
Yes.
adaptions.
Yes.
Now I
Now,
don't know
I
which
think that the cryptic part of what he said was pleasing the fans, right? Like, so that,
Yeah.
how do you define the fans? And
Yeah.
that's where a lot of people will start to pick apart what he said and say, oh, are you talking about these fans or are you talking about these fans or are you talking about new fans?
I know, because it makes me think Wing.
Yeah,
Because Wing just that's all I knew about Gundam when I didn't know Gundam. I just knew there's a thing called Wing with robots, and,
exactly right.
you know,
The latest chapter from the from the anime mecha saga.
that's
Um,
very good.
now I still Zeonic Shadow, I see you in chat. I still need to hear that Peter Cullen impersonation because I know that I can't hit that. I'm still getting over. I hope it's not COVID, but
Oh,
I tested negative, so
oh, there
I'm
you go.
still getting over whatever it is that I had.
Something else the government made. But, it would
Exactly.
be a good cameo. You and Sonic Shadow start doing cameos where you could, like,
There you go.
say, "Happy
No.
birthday" with the voicer.
Hey, I do a very good Solid Snake. So if the director of the Gundam movie is still working on that Metal
Oh,
Gear
yeah.
project, I'm in much better shape than David Hayter. But I'm dummy thick, and the clap of my ass cheeks keeps alerting the guards. um, no, so oh
Oh,
man.
that's awesome.
Well,
Ah,
we have some fun here.
enough joking.
Enough
No, I'm
joking.
joking.
Let's talk about some hobby stuff, some model stuff. As you can see here, I'm gonna switch over, and on the slab we have an RX 78 II. Speaking of Amuro, before we get into the panel lining proper here, because obviously I've got some stuff that I need to explain. What with all the extra shoulder pads and things going on. I was doing a bit of miniature painting today, and got a couple. Of
Ooh.
they're not totally done. I've done some of the flat colors, but these are slightly smaller than 1/400 scale. They're probably close to like 1/500 scale miniatures. And of course, they have my patented magnetic limbs,
Oh,
swap out arms and leg, well, not legs, but arms and armaments. And
nice.
it gives you more posing options, right? You can kind of tweak the bullpup rifle. Is that Yeah, that's a bull. You tweak the bullpup rifle upward.
Oh, I
Um,
love it.
so yeah, this is some fun stuff that I've been working on in the old spare time. This is one that I had from a streams back. Daku armed with a bazooka, got a little shield on him. The flat colors are done on this guy, but I would like to add some decals to it at some point.
Oh, yeah. That would look good.
And folks, always there we go.
Enhance.
So, I'm always a big fan when Z have flat shield, have like their fires
Yeah.
their on their shoulder shield. Obviously, got it mounted on. We uh,
Maybe even like the kill count, sometimes, on the
yeah,
yeah.
that's I only noticed that looking at old master grade Char Zaku too. That
Yeah.
got the he's got like a what are they stars for every kill he's
Um,
got?
I have him back there, but the shield is the other direction. Don't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, there's something like that on it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
I love that idea.
Oh yeah. I mean, and it's something that we do as in real life, right? Like you
Yeah,
look at NFL players, they've got like, decals on their helmet for every sack that they down that they get or something, and like that's cool.
yeah,
That's something that I could imagine us doing if we had
yeah.
mobile suits.
I'm reading the Advance of Zeta manga, and they talk about that early on. The guys are like getting their little notches in on the shields and stuff, and I
So
just love
awesome.
that. Yeah, I love that
Yeah,
idea.
there's like a whole culture behind it.
Yeah,
You know, those are the things that really make it stand out.
yeah.
Hey, thanks for the sub.
Oh,
This was something that I noticed on not Ultronymous, Unusualist Pyro's stream earlier. Is the alert boxes from Streamlabs going on screen? I get the audio, but I don't get the alert that
mm,
says who subscribed. And so, whoever
well,
subscribed, thank you. I
thank
hear
you.
you.
Yeah,
I noticed that you subscribed. I appreciate it. Um, I don't know what's going on with Streamlabs. They're
yeah.
blowing it
They're
for me.
still drunk. It's the new year.
Yeah, it's everyone's off till the 5th.
Yeah.
Um, so what we're looking at here is what I would like to call my practice. Obviously, I've done some. I tried to get that sort of anime coloring effect going on here. I used some like white paints to paint the highlights, and I used some black markers to kind of paint the shadows. If you notice, I even on the torso here, we have two different shades of blue. We have the
Wow.
sort of bright primary blue, and then on the shadowy side, I don't even know if the I don't know if the light will do it justice, but the inside
Yeah.
of this area and side of that torso are a darker shade of blue.
Yeah, because it
So
looks just like the shading, like the real natural light. That's
yeah,
pretty cool.
that was the goal, is to kind of create that anime effect. But then, I was
Good
like,
job.
I'm terrible at this. You look at these drawings that I've got here on the head, and it just looks bad. Which is fine because I decided that this was going to be a convert into, and I've mentioned this on a previous short or stream, that I'm a big fan of the Gundam 7th from
Oh, yeah.
Battlefield Record 0081. So I was like, I'm going to take this high grade RX-78 and turn it into the Gundam 7th, the RX-78-7. So I, 3D printed a backpack. I 3D printed
Dang.
some different parts. I had the head sitting. Might have misplaced the head. doesn't matter. Point being
Who needs
that,
it?
I've
Slager
got
didn't.
the shoulders here, fit pretty neatly onto the torso, and they look pretty good.
Wow,
Um,
yeah.
the only issue that I've had with them that the biceps are a little too big to fit inside those torsos, so I have to resize
Mm,
the 3D print a little bit more and give it a little bit more clearance for those to fit in there. But once that's done, we've got a different chest mold that's going to go on there. We've got a different backpack, different back mold.
wow.
Um, but all in all, this is probably an easier conversion than the ground
The
type Zaku 2 that I've been
Zaku,
working
yeah.
on, because the rest of it is fairly fairly in line. Now, the reason I bring this up is that it makes it so that these chest pieces and these shoulder pauldrons are fair game for me to practice techniques on that I am not necessarily confident in. So, my advice to you guys is if you are building Gunpla and you're doing kit bashing and stuff, practice techniques on actual kits. Spoons are great. Spoons you can use for, testing paint colors and things like that. But you really don't get the full effect of what you're doing unless you are practicing on an actual piece of Gunpla. So,
I agree.
so what we're gonna do tonight, I've got a product, and like I said, this is linked down in the description below. Shout out to Goose for bringing it up to me. So there is a sheet of aluminum panel lining scribe guides that I picked up on Amazon. It comes with, like, I want to say, what, 20, 25 odd different designs that you can sort of scribe on for Gundam, and in this case they work a little bit better than your typical scribing tape or um, else you might try and use as your guidelines. And in particular, what I like about these is that hopefully we're going to be able to get some symmetrical lines, because that is the part that I most when it comes to
Mm.
Gunpla panel
So you're
lining
talking
scribing.
about being able to have a line not be all wiggly as you're getting it.
Hopefully, we'll,
Okay.
we'll we'll see how it goes. I've had a drink or two, so it's
'Cause that's the thing, like, there's for one, it being guiding that razor blade correctly, but then
yeah.
number 2 is you're using a razor blade, and those always scare me anyway, so, or X-Acto knife or what do they call an art blade? I don't know, I think there's like a art knife,
Yeah, like hobby knife. So I've got
hobby knife,
I've
yeah.
got the hobby knife here. It's actually a pretty nice pointed one.
Yeah, that seems a little small,
And
yeah.
then, also linked down in the description, I've got the gun primer Greta, which is, I mean, it's basically a needle that's threaded into a mechanical
Oh, yeah,
pencil, which,
that's right.
brilliant idea.
Yeah,
What what I'm going to be doing, of course, is, and again, one of the excellent things about this product in particular is that you can sort of flex and bend the metal around curved parts. So, if you're working on a Zaku leg, it has like
mm,
that bend to it. You can sort of bend this around it. Now, I don't know how much that's going to damage over time the straightness of the lines that we're working with. Fortunately, the parts that we're going to be scribing on today are a little flatter, a little bit easier to, so, hope for the best.
well, cool.
um, but yeah, since we're replacing these shoulders anyway, I figured what better way to test this particular product than to just go ahead and start digging into some plastic.
Yeah,
And yeah, like I said, you could do this on spoon, but I think that the plastic is
yeah,
slightly different, and you
right.
do want that kind of tactile experience of working on a Gunpla. So why not do?
Yeah, and you get those entry grade kits pretty cheap. In fact, speaking of entry grade kits, I'm a little late on this, but the entry grade new Gundam came in from Big
Oh,
Bad. And you know what? And I think after, watching this stream that I happen to be in, I think I'm going to do that with this. Because I have the real grade new
yeah,
Gundam, and it's like I might as well do something interesting with the entry grade. So that's what I'll do. I will go back to your backlog of the previous live streams we've done, take those little bits of information, and make the ultimate Hatter approved custom
There
new
you
Gundam.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. So Error, uh, Tony, one of my buddies on Discord, had sent me the entry grade RX 78-2 that I haven't built yet because obviously been been a little busy, but honestly, the be pretty short. That
Mm.
might be one that I can actually finish in a single stream.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that that is one that I would be looking forward to doing something exciting with because, like you said, they're affordable, they're available. You can get them at Hobby Lobby. You don't have to go hunting around for them, and you can do some exciting stuff with that.
Yeah.
Um,
It's true.
and in particular, I mean, if you've got that new Gundam, that is one. So the new Gundam doesn't come with the fin funnels, right? Like the new Gundam,
Nope.
it kind of like a blank canvas.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, really, it's such a clean look. It's like it really reminds me of like the anime with like how clean um just the whole thing looks because you could really just go in there and yeah, it's asking for lines in the
Oh yeah,
scribing. It really is, and that would really look cool. Um, yeah, maybe, and I love adding gold to things and silver, so I might just do a bunch of that.
yeah, yeah. Metallic effects are underrated. In all right. So what I've done here is I've used a little bit of electrical tape and I've lined up the edge of the guide to be parallel to the edge um of the shoulder pauldron, and I'm just gonna go in and the the way I'm measuring the height. Obviously, I've got this little notch here that is already scribed into the plastic, and I'm just coming slightly underneath with the guide. And so the idea is that if I place this in the same spot on the alternate shoulder, we should have mirror image panel
Ah,
line.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that would be difficult. Yeah, you gotta really match up the symmetry.
That's my biggest struggle, is like every panel line that I've scribed, I typically would like this guy, and if I've got a straight edge, I try to meet two defined points. So like let's say taking a break from what I'm working on here, let's say I was trying to scribe a panel line on chest unit. I was going to freehand it. I would probably find the corner of one of these pieces and line it up with the corner of outer piece. Carve my pilot line. Probably help if I line it up with the. So I'd line up the point of the corner here, point outermost. That
Mhm.
way, I know that when I flip it over to the other side, I do the same thing. I hit that corner, and I get my panel line. Now,
Well,
the upside of that is that my panel line is always going to be straight as using. Downside of that is that obviously I can't do some of those cool things that you see guys on YouTube doing that I should be able to do. I'm on YouTube, right?
yeah, exactly. And what do you mean, like kind of adding shape to it or like almost looking layered?
Yeah, adding some visual interest. Obviously, like, guides have bends kind of well, and so the nice thing about it is actually several dozen different guides, and each of them comes in a tiny square like this, break off from the whole.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
let's say you wanted to add some panel line just to the full skirt of our Gundam, line it up what you've got here. And the nice thing about this is that because thin piece of metal on the other side, flip it.
Hmm.
And I think what most people typically they will use draw the effect
Oh,
on. So
yeah.
like if you were to take a quick pencil, mark the lines down, and do this.
Oh, we're getting, low audio from you. Oh,
Oh,
it could be
low
'cause of the
audio.
mic. Yeah, it's probably just from moving, yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me bring the microphone around. So if we've got our little colored pencil here, let's see if this works. Nope, this pencil is not sharp enough to get in.
To fit in there. Hmm. Yeah, because to me, I almost feel like I would prefer to draw everything first, but I don't know how accurate that is, or, like, smudges over time. There's probably a specific sort of utensil for that. Utensil?
Yeah. It's like tattoo artistry, I imagine. So, like, this would
Mm.
be me using a Gundam marker to mark out that panel line. And so, like, obviously, in theory, freehand using that line as a guide. But the added benefit of using the metal piece itself is that you have something that you can kind of press against and hopefully
Yeah,
keep yourself straight.
true. That's true. Yeah, and taping it down like that, I mean, that's really all you need.
Yeah, we'll see how it works. I'm not confident in my tape job. All right, so let's see. So Spanking Goose says he hates entry grade, feels so wrong in his.
Hmm.
I can understand that. There's definitely a entry grades are marketed towards
Oh, like younger or beginners?
yeah, it's like I don't want to downplay what entry grade line does because obviously there's a value in what it is. I think that a lot of veteran Gunpla builders obviously no sense in them picking up a real grade if they've already got master grades in the backlog that they're looking to
Well, yeah,
build,
that's a good point because my first Gunpla was the full armored real grade unicorn, and then when I picked
which is
up
wild.
something I know, because then when I picked up another kit that was just a high grade, I was like, "Oh, this is disappointing," and then that's when I kinda realized, "Oh, the real grade is like a specialty line."
It is for sure.
Um, and yeah, I do love those real grades.
Robert, hey, good to see you, Robert. In Anakin
Hey,
voice,
Robert.
where there's only dirt around me. Uh, Bionic Shadow, I would line it up first on both sides to make yes. That's so. That's the downside of having one of these sets. So I advise you to buy two so that you can tape both in place at the same time. I'm kidding. Um, let's see. I think that I've got enough of a pilot line carved in that should be able to get on. God. So I mean, I can see it, but it's not showing up on cameras. You know what? I think the way depth carved in so far be to just add some panel line juice.
Oh, good good call on that. Thought you were gonna bring out, like, a magnifying glass.
That would be one way to do it for sure.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
nice. That looks cool.
so let's see if I just wipe that away. So far, I mean, that is a pretty sharp looking panel line, and honestly, it's better looking than most of the work that I do.
No, that actually looks good, and something I've realized too lately when I've been looking at people scribing is if you take your time and look closely, they're not always 100%. I think that's just how it is, but I think
True.
when it's detailed and complete and it's standing there, you don't notice it.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
I think this is
absolutely.
a good example of that because it just looks good. Um, Yeah, you did it yet again, Steven.
Yeah, mission accomplished. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Now, I think the objective here is now that we've got our sort of pilot line. That's what I refer to it as. Obviously, you guys can correct
Mhm.
me in chat if you use different terminology. But once you have a pilot line in that you can kind of go over several times in order to create that deeper panel line, um, that obviously makes a huge difference.
Oh, man, this is just reminding me, the G Savior, the artwork on it has all these lines all over its shoulders.
Right.
That's the way I gotta go about it.
And the G Savior kit has like none of that.
Yeah,
The G
exactly.
the G Savior kit is very flat.
Yeah, yeah. So, I was trying to think of a joke there, but no. Actually, I even have it for those that are watching. Yeah, you can kinda see the shoulders just kind of, yeah, I can't tell if it's focusing, but yeah, it's just flat, and I wanna detail it, but at first I'm learning from the sensei before I touch this because I love this G Savior kit.
Yeah,
So,
and that's kind of a rare commodity now. Like you can't, everyone has access to like the Sharzaku Revive kit
yeah.
or the RX-78-2 Revive. Oddly enough, the high grade Goof custom, the Norris Packard custom, that seems widely available. Hobby Lobby
Yeah,
stuff, which
that's what's
is
cool.
that's
The
crazy to me.
OHMS team stuff, seems, yeah, the white Zaku, oh, from Stardust,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, that one, um, yeah, that stuff seems to be widely available. Yeah, you're right. With this G Savior, I would hate to mess it up and then, like, have to wait till Mandrake has another one for $80.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Zionic Shadow. People get nervous for some reason. Uh,
Yeah, it's those razor blades. I've made a mistake here or there cutting an avocado, so
so now the question is, can we line this up using the same techniques that we use? I think we probably would have been smart of me to notate what which one I went with.
well, at least you
Whether it
can line
was
it up like a puzzle.
yeah, exactly. We're
That's part of the fun.
exactly right. So it looks like we are on the size one. Must be the size two here. Yeah, I'm just confused. Got to be size one. And so what we're going to do is flip that over and on the reverse side, line that up, and hopefully we are going to get the same mirrored panel line, the opposite. Probably help cover the whole.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
we got the I was gonna say the 2 gooses in the chat. Is one spanking the other? I'm curious.
I don't know if that's yeah. Is it a goose spanking or a spanking goose? Obviously,
Yeah,
that's the
that's the real question today. And let's see. Robert's asking about a 3D print of Magi Matrix. Oh, is that Robert, is that one of your fan arts or art in general? Um, is that one that you've posted? Let us know.
yeah. I'm not familiar with that one in particular, but yeah, definitely let me. Now I'm all confused. Mixing this up. Okay, size one. Flip it this. And again, I'm a big fan of visual guides on the actual kit, right? As opposed to, like, I could bust out the old micrometer and say, oh, well, it's exactly zero point 0.8 millimeters from the edge here. And so I need to put my line zero point 0.8 millimeters from this edge.
Hey, you got that micrometer.
Yeah,
You
I
can
sure
check it.
do. Um, but generally speaking, I like to use something a little bit more, I don't know, what would you use to describe what I'm trying to describe? Something a little bit more tangible, I guess, would be the proper description. Something that I can easily reference without having to um go to the ruler, go to the micrometer. Um
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is all magic to me. Oh, we got an answer. So, Speaking Goose said he spanked 80 geese. And
uh,
Goose is even saying together they are goose, or they are geese. I mean, tall geese.
we
You're gonna saying tall geese.
we are geese, for we are many. Um that's something that is there something that I'm missing? A Gundam joke involved with geese that so many Gundam fans are goslings?
Yeah, I don't know. Honks and Legion from Autonomous. No, it's kind of funny how, like, that is a thing because, like, the tall geese and then, like, a goose. I remember right when I got into Gundam, Fortnite had a sorta like chicken Gundam, and it looked just like the tall geese. So it's just
Naturally.
like, but also in, like, Witch from Mercury, people are always telling me how much they love seeing the earth animals. So I think there's just people like animals so much. I think if an animal can be incorporated into a mobile suit, it's a win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we learned about that last stream when Ultronymous and Robert were mentioning the Uku. Am I
Oh,
pronouncing that correct?
yes.
From Gundam Seed, the old
That further, yeah, explains that because the Zoids having kind of that animal look to it.
exactly
Yeah.
right.
I wonder if, like, in 10 years, I'll have a Zoids explained. I don't know. It's like these things I never think I'd ever get into. Um,
Exactly right, man. Give a time positioning. I think electrical tape is probably doing. I think the thinner,
what about super glue?
just
Just imagine by the end of it, all your fingers are glued on a piece, and you're like, "Wait a minute."
honestly, that sounds much more appealing than than some of these terrible decisions that I've made so far. So let's line this guy up one more time. Hopefully, ultra thin masking tape trick for us. Our hopefully symmetrical panel lines scribed in.
Hey,
Um,
it's a process, and there's no way I would probably be having to go through all this if I wasn't watching you do it, so know that you're adding value.
yes, I hope that I'm contributing in some small way to this collection of giant robot fans. Sorry, had a little bit
Oh, no, you're, like, multitasking with a sharp object. It's
of.
understandable. Huh.
Yeah, so I actually ended up taping over the line just slightly with the masking tape, but fortunately, using a sharp blade, we cut through the masking tape no
But that
problem.
kinda seems to make sense to even have tape over some of the lines because it's kinda helping with the support, and you can just cut through it.
Yeah, exactly right. Um, Now the corners of this little aluminum piece are incredibly sharp and kind of jabbing me with my finger. So we're gonna do our
Yeah.
best.
I don't want something to happen. It's like, "Steven, you alright?" They're like, "Well, this paint is this red paint is just part of the color I'm going for."
Yeah,
I don't think that's paint.
that's a that's the color scheme that we decided on beforehand. It's all good. I think that happened a couple streams ago. We were doing something, and I definitely just sliced
Yeah.
the hell out of my finger, and
I
I
wonder what that was.
um
Oh, Goose is saying Adam needs to change his channel name to Space Warrior Explained because there was that, that Gundam coffee mug I got for Christmas called, like, Space Warrior or something like that.
Oh, from that old the Gundam, like, knockoff animation, like the Space
No, it
Knight?
was a mug I got, and it was labeled Space Warrior, even though it was clearly the RX-78 too. It even said RX-78 2 Space Warrior. It's like but you're right. It must have been just, piggybacking off of that, exploiting what that anime did with, like, the was it Blonde Amuro,
Yeah,
Dark-Haired Char or something like that?
exactly right. Alright, so let's see, uh, side by side, I can sort of focus hundreds of dollars on state of the art equipment for you guys and get
Yeah, you guys know what that's like.
um so this one I actually used the hobby knife to carve in that line a little bit deeper so you can see it a little bit better. I can match this one to it, hopefully, and we'll be able to see them match up. And of course, we really want it to show up on camera, I will hit it with some of our black magic aniline juice. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and you can kinda see it light it's lighter anyway because 'cause you've peeled away from the I guess, the dirt that got onto the top layer, um, so it does show up. That looks
yeah, that's a little bit of that human dye. No, I'm
yeah,
just
there you go.
what do they call it in the Watchmen, right? What is that? Bean juice?
Oh, is that what it is? I've only seen the movie, and I forgot about it.
I don't think you're missing too much. Honestly, that's one of those rare
Ooh.
instances where I kind of think that the movie did a little bit more justice than the comic book.
Oh, that's cool. I
And
thought
maybe
I
that's
like the
blasphemous. I don't know. You guys tell me.
I mean, that sometimes happens. So, oh, I didn't mention this, but I feel like I'm changing the subject all the time, but kind of related.
No,
I talked about Ghost in the Shell, like the movie, and I like it. And then I saw the anime, and they're super similar.
they actually, yeah, were
I was
not a
yeah.
terrible adaptation,
I
that
f-
one.
I feel like that movie's unfairly treated. Um, because I was gonna say I heard the Doctor Manhattan stuff was different in Watchmen. I heard, but I liked that whole thing with Doctor Manhattan in
Yeah,
the movie.
it
That
made a
was
lot more sense.
fascinating.
I mean, so Adam, you tell me, chat, let me know. Do you guys care about spoilers?
No.
Not for Watchmen.
Unless it's like the next episode of a Star Wars show that's gonna be next week, I don't care.
No, I don't watch Star Wars. No, there's 6 Star Wars movies, and then I don't. That's it. There was nothing. They never made another video game. They never made anything. No, so yeah, I mean, the Watchmen comic book, they like kidnap artists and like the space alien are supposed to be afraid of, when it makes way more sense, the movie explanation of, hey, we're gonna make it seem like Dr. Manhattan's a bad guy and everyone's gonna hate him and then there's gonna be peace on earth because we all hate the guy. um it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to pretend that some alien showed up in Manhattan, like detonated itself for no reason. Like it,
Yeah, I never saw the comic, but I heard they were different, and I thought the movie had a neat story. That Doctor Manhattan stuff was cool.
go.
Yeah.
um
Oh, Lucas agrees. Yeah.
Dan says that's kind of heresy. Yes, I assume that you're referencing that movie Watchmen better than the comic book. Um, Lucas says, "Hey, worked for G Gundam and Master Asia's Horse. Call it the Devil Dog Gundam." Ian doesn't care about spoilers. The Onyx Shadow doesn't care about spoilers. Dan says, "Still haven't seen Ghost in the Shell movie. All I remember is the drama around casting a non-Japanese actress, which I totally understand.
Yeah,
They
me
were
too.
definitely trying to. That movie was like, hey, let's see if we can get a Western audience into Ghost in the Shell, and
Yeah.
we're gonna cast the biggest female star in Hollywood."
Which seems like a good idea. Get
Mhm.
people into it. In fact, I probably
Yeah,
never would have bothered watching Ghost in the Shell, anime if it wasn't for the movie.
fair
Um,
enough. I was a big fan of the standalone complex, the series. that
Cool,
was
I'll have to watch that. Yeah,
yeah.
I'll have to watch that.
Um, let's see. Robert says, "We are geese. We will incorporate your technology into art." You cut yourself while hot and crying while you work on your gunpla. You can say you put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. Well, I'm
Oh,
definitely
there
sweating.
you
It is, in my mom's basement down here. It is sweltering. Uh, Dan agrees. Blaming it on Doctor Manhattan was a sensible plot change. That was the only
go.
thing about that movie that I agreed with because the sex scene set to "Hallelujah" by Jeff Buckley was a terrible decision.
Mm,
And that is forever
sounds cringy.
seared into my mind of like watching
I remember.
high paced thrusting to, what is supposed to be a beautiful, crooner type song.
Yeah, that is pretty cringy.
um, let's see. Lucas says loved the ending to Watchmen movie better than graphic novel. See, look at that.
Another one. Okay.
Ultronus didn't need to jump that alien shark. See, look at that. I thought that I was committing heresy, get the flamer, the heavy flamer, and turns out most people agree that the movie ending more sense than the book ending. Plus, you
Yeah,
don't have to suffer through that whole pirate subplot.
well, I think Zack Snyder, because that's who did The Watchmen, right? The movie?
Mhm.
I actually think he doesn't get enough credit. Uh, I mean, I know people didn't like Batman vs Superman. I liked it a lot. Even that Justice League thing they put on HBO, that was epic.
Sure.
And then Dawn of the Dead, that's when I first heard of him. And see, I was a huge zombie fan, and Dawn of the Dead, the original, was actually one of my favorite movies all through high school. Like, and so when I first saw that new Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead, I'm like, they're running. Why? But by the end of it, I was like, you know what? That did make it a little more intense and a little more entertaining.
Terrifying.
Yeah. So I do think he's underappreciated. He brings new ideas that I think people then later are like, yeah, that was a better idea. Um, I think in the future, people will actually say Batman vs Superman was good.
Yeah, I hope that history is kind to dear Zack Snyder, especially now that the Snyderverse is over
Yeah.
and the Gunverse has begun. Um, you know,
Oh, yeah, and he
such a
has that
shame.
Rebel Moon movie coming out that was written as a Star Wars movie,
Yeah,
and so he's just adapting it to his own sci-fi, so that should be pretty cool.
and that's awesome. Like honestly, a little bit of extra Star Wars backstory lore. Mass Effect, which is a franchise that I deeply, deeply enjoy. I love the story, love the lore behind that. BioWare wrote that as what was supposed to be Knights of the Old Republic 3. Supposed to be a
Oh,
Star Wars story, and they kind
wow.
of hinted at it in Knights of the Old Republic 2, but they didn't get to expand upon it. And so they were like, well, look, we have the game basically built. Let's just build our own story around it, and that's where we get Mass Effect. So the
That's
best things,
interesting.
and shout out to the chat. I know that a few of you guys are big into sort of fanfic community. Robert, you
Yeah.
are a big fanfic writer. Don't get discouraged by the fact that you're writing fanfic because your fanfic might just need a couple of name changes, and all of a sudden it becomes its own.
Could be the next Twilight, or what was that, the Gray show, movie? I forget what it's called, but wasn't that a Twilight fanfic, and then it became a, 50 Shades of Grey, there we go.
I wouldn't know about that, Adam.
No. No.
So yeah, I think that about does it for my brief example. I obviously need to clean their. They need some sanding. They need some love, but they are symmetrical, which
Yeah, watching you do that made it look way more easier than I thought. Like, I'm pretty much gonna grab that thing off Amazon then. Yeah, actually, let me quickly throw that
add to
into the
cart
chat.
and beep. No, and it comes with like I said, it comes with like 32 some odd patterns that you can kind of use to work with. So I mean, it's an awesome little kit, and I highly recommend. It actually comes in two different formations. One that I think one of them is a little bit more like it does rivets, things like that, a little bit better. This
Oh, that
one does more like lines, so I like the panel lines a little bit better. Rivet one, but
but I like the rivet idea. I didn't think about that because I kinda like it when corners and edges have little rivets and stuff.
that's always pretty
Um,
cool. Yeah,
yeah, I might do
will.
that.
I'll hand it to you there. Which honestly, So one of these sheets actually does have, they're not complicated rivets, but they do have, I don't know how you would even analyze describe some of this. So one of the sheets, nothing but dots,
Oh, wow.
dots and holes. You have the ones that are lined up side by side, and then you have the ones that are kind of sort of.
Oh, that's
How would you
cool.
describe that? Like left right oriented, where it's kind of hexagonally
Yeah, I don't know what you call it, but that would make it so much
offset.
easier if you wanted on a plane to have, like, symmetrical in the corners or whatever. That's pretty cool that they have it like that.
Yeah,
I'm picking that up for sure.
yeah. Like I said, I don't come across products often that this is every Gunpla builder must have, but this is one of those things that I'm like, it made a difference for me, and so even if you don't use like a really fine tipped scriber, even if you're just a hobby knife, having a metal guide makes precision that you.
Oh, and you know what? I like that it has the letters, just in case you wanted to describe that.
Yeah.
In the numbers, that's actually a pretty neat idea.
Yeah, well, maybe that's something that we're gonna cover next stream. I don't know if
Okay.
you have ever tried this, and I did with this Gunpla custom, but carving letters and numbers off over. One of the things past, you've got these like sort of embossed letters and parts runners. What
Yeah.
you can actually do is if you get a sharp enough hobby knife, you can get under those letters and
Oh.
carve them off, super glue them to your kit. So, like, let's say you have, E3, then you can carve that G3 off runner, have like sort of embossed marking. Let's see if
Oh,
I
someone's
can.
saying they can't hear you.
Oh, no, did I get too far away from the microphone? Let me.
No, you're sounding clear unless yeah.
Yeah, my apologies,
Let's see.
guys. Um, I need to do a better job of making sure that I'm talking into the microphone and not just in the vague direction of microphone. Well, I definitely butchered this S, but like I said, that's something that we can cover next week. If you guys are interested, let me know in the chat, and I
Yeah.
can um yeah, that'll definitely be a topic of conversation. I'll pick out some really good runners that have good letters and numbers that we can add some detail to some gunpla.
That's cool.
Um Sweet. Well, I think that that about covers it for this week. What do you think, Adam? Anything that I'm missing?
No, I'm just glad that it looks easier than I thought to do the scribing. I need to do that. I think that's what I'm gonna do with this integrated new Gundam. I'm just gonna add some neat
Practice on the new Gundam and then do it
yeah.
to the G Savior because like you
Oh
said,
yeah.
the G
That's the
Savior
way
could
to
use it.
go. Mhm. Oh, definitely. Yeah, I can't wait.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey, like you guys, I say it every week. Tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Central. We're going to be over on the Gundam Explained podcast. Tune in. Links down in the description below.
Yep.
Go and check out Adam's channel. Um, any preview about what we might be talking about tomorrow night, or
Yeah,
do you want to
I
keep it a
think we're gonna
secret?
talk a little bit about Voltron, because something with that came up.
Voltron
Um,
explained.
and then yeah, exactly. And then maybe, this anime Gunbuster I saw,
Sweet,
and 'cause it reminds me a lot of Witch from Mercury, and it's amazing. But and then, yeah, some other stuff. There'll be
sweet.
shenanigans. So,
Yeah, then that sounds fun.
yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I was a big
Oh,
Voltron fan back in the '90s. So,
oh, okay, so
yeah.
you'll have some things to talk about because I don't know anything about Voltron.
Oh, believe me, I
Mm.
have opinions.
Oh, okay, nice, nice.
I'm short of nothing less than opinions. But no, thank you guys so much for tuning in this evening.
Yeah.
Thank you for keeping the chat lively. And 50 Shades of Gundarium alloy armor. We all know what Adam's new channel
Very good.
is. Oh man. No, thank you guys for keeping it lively. Thank you for hanging out with us while we, carve up some plastic. Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your week. See you tomorrow night over on Gundam Explained, and catch you all later.
Yep, see you.